Chapter 46. When she woke up, Serafina felt like she was floating in a warm, inescapable haze. She opened her eyes hazily, only to see sunlight flooding the room. Outside the window was a deep blue sky, a brilliant pink glow, the entire room bathed in a warm orange light. She couldn't remember what time it was anymore. She only remembered that after arriving at the Venetian Macau Hotel, the first thing she did was change into her pajamas, crawl into bed and fall asleep. Now that she had woken up, she still wanted to sleep. She stretched, rubbed her sleepy eyes, put on her slippers, and tried to drag her tired body slowly open the door and go out. As soon as she opened the door, she saw Harrison sitting in front of the floor-to-ceiling window in the living room, a cup of tea, a book. The space was silent. The entire room was carpeted, so she didn't make any noise. He read a book, she watched him. No matter what he did, at any time, he was always very serious and attentive. She always felt that his seriousness was so charming. The outside world projected onto the floor-to-ceiling windows was a scene of azure sky, green forest, and vast purple clouds, overwhelming, but he was quiet and calm, making people feel at peace just by looking at him. Actually, if others looked closely, his handsome face seemed cold, even to the point of seeming cold. But she knew, that was to others, but to her it was not like that. Thinking of this, her heart suddenly trembled. She tiptoed to his side, slowly squatted down, propped up her cheek, and smiled while looking at him. His gaze on the book page was originally indifferent and cold, but the moment she squatted down, his gaze slowly moved away, stopping at her face. In just a blink of an eye, it was filled with a warm smile. "You're up?" He closed the book, looked at her sitting next to him, his voice low and gentle like pearls in the sunlight. She sat up. In front of the window was a large, soft sofa. He was sitting there alone, but she squeezed in between, sitting on his lap. But he indulged her, cooperating with her to move gradually, until she found the most comfortable position. Then she was satisfied and hugged his neck like a child. He never thought that the intimate yet cramped feeling of sitting on a sofa together would be so wonderful. She leaned her head on his shoulder, acting a little coquettishly, mixed with a bit of guilt. "I remember I said I was going out to play, but I fell asleep." He had heard her say fell asleep countless times, and couldn't help but laugh. "You're so sleepy, I really doubt if you're a koala bear." She raised her head, whispered in his ear, "But you're so quiet." I sat down and still didn't move. "I really doubt if you're a log or not." His eyes lit up. "No wonder you like hugging me like that." She pushed him lightly and yawned. He stopped smiling, looked at her attentively, discovered that she had lost weight recently, sighed. "A school anniversary ceremony can make you this tired." "That's right. Did you take the medicine I gave you on time?" She obediently nodded, rubbing against his neck. "Yes, I drank it, so I've been sleeping very well lately. I don't have any strange dreams, and my spirit is also very refreshed." "Why do I think it's not working?" He frowned. "When you get back to Beijing, can you go get a health checkup?" "Yes." She obediently replied like a little cat. He placed his hand on her stomach, his long fingers scratching a few times. "Are you hungry? I'll ask the waiter to bring some food up." She shook her head, suddenly mumbling, "I've been sleeping for so long that I'm not hungry anymore. Why don't we go downstairs? When I got here, I thought the scenery around here was beautiful, but I was too tired to look around." The two of them changed their clothes and went downstairs, planning to walk around, trying anything delicious on the way. Just as they got off the elevator, they coincidentally met Andrew and Emma, who had just returned from playing all morning. Andrew glanced at Serafina, who was clearly in bad spirits, and Harrison, who was clearly in good spirits, and said profoundly, "Playing in the hotel all morning, this is a model of finding fun on your own." Serafina was confused and didn't understand anything. Harrison glanced at Andrew, mouthing, "Want to die?" Andrew replied, "So what?" Normally, Harrison would definitely fight with him. But now, Serafina beside him was still smiling innocently and chatting with Emma, so he didn't find it convenient to say anything. Emma chatted with Serafina for a while, then suddenly had an idea, said to her, "Let's go shopping around here. Actually, we've never gone shopping together before." "Okay." Serafina rarely went shopping with her girlfriend, also interested. "Let's go." Harrison was silent but more authoritative than speaking, looking at Emma. I waited all morning for her to wake up. I haven't even hugged her yet and you're already cutting in? If you want to find her to go out, go to the back and queue. Cutting in is not good. Emma saw his strange expression, couldn't help but laugh. Harrison grabbed her hand, pulled her aside. What are you going to do? Emma glanced at him, said blandly, I want to take Serafina to buy a bikini. He immediately pushed her towards Serafina, saying very seriously, hurry up and go. Half an hour later, Serafina looked at all the colorful bikinis and grimaced. What was the reason for this feeling of embarrassment and excitement, flustered and expectant? Emma laughed. Embarrassed and flustered is because you're wearing too little, and excited and expectant is because you want to wear it for the person you like to see. Serafina didn't blush, nor was she embarrassed, she laughed. Yeah, that's right. Choosing clothes didn't take much time. Serafina didn't like patterned clothes but liked solid clothes. Black was too frivolous, white was too innocent. In the end she chose a navy blue set. When paying, she leaned against the counter and yawned again. Emma raised her eyebrows and looked at her, smiling darkly. Looks like you're tired after staying in the hotel all morning today? She still didn't understand anything, so she replied as if it were true, yes, I slept all morning and I don't know why I'm still tired. Emma couldn't help but laugh. How can you not be tired after sleeping all morning? After this sentence, it sounded strange. Only now did Serafina slowly understand what Andrew said in the hotel, what Emma said just now. She panicked. It's not that sleep, I've been so busy lately that I'm tired. After coming here I slept all morning. He must have been reading a book. Did today pass like that? You two are really a couple. Emma almost had nothing more to say, and finally said, then I have to take you back quickly, otherwise he will kill me. She frowned slightly. Why did it go that far? Let's go home, let's go home. Emma pushed her out. But as soon as she left the store, she met someone familiar. When Serafina saw Hannah coming, her first reaction was frustration. She finally had time to go to Macau, to be able to hold hands and have fun everywhere with Harrison, but in the end, she had to let him suffer as a secret lover. Her second reaction, sigh, Hannah really made people feel like she was as persistent as a hungry leech. Moreover, she didn't expect Hannah to be with Emily this time. When she saw Serafina, she was also very surprised, and even greeted her very enthusiastically. Her enthusiastic attitude made Serafina's skin crawl. What a coincidence, I didn't expect you to also come to Macau to play. That's right, which hotel are you staying at? Let's go out together someday. Serafina was as straightforward as a horse's gut. I'm only here for a few days. Hannah saw her indifference, and smiled and said, no matter what, we can still be considered to have had a good cooperation. I still want to see you as a partner. Serafina smiled faintly. Is that so? Hannah also had no intention of staying to talk to her any longer, greeted Emma. Emily also greeted her properly, then each went their separate ways. When Serafina returned to her room, Harrison had just finished showering, wearing a bathrobe, his hair still wet. I just went to play tennis with Andrew. After he finished speaking, his eyes stopped on her small square bag, very sinister in the kind of knowing it all but still asking, you're back so fast, what did you buy? Serafina blushed slightly now, twisted her fingers, and remained silent. He glanced at her seemingly troubled face, secretly laughing in his heart, but on the outside still pretended to be unaware. What did you buy? She reflexively hid her hand behind her back, covering the bag behind her. He took a step forward, his long arms reaching out to search her back. The collar of his bathrobe was loose, the fresh scent of mint soap mixed with the distinct scent of a man wafted towards her. She suddenly felt the urge to pounce on him and take a bite. As soon as she was distracted, he leaned over, reached into the paper bag, and pulled something out. In his hand were 2 small pieces of cloth and a few long strings, feeling smooth and silky. He lingered over her, thinking that if she wore this outfit, it would definitely be blue, seductive yet calm. It would definitely be stunning. His heart started to beat wildly, and he tried his best to suppress the heat in his heart, and on the surface, he pretended to be indifferent and asked, you bought this? That little? She sensed that the words that little in his mouth had a different meaning, so she turned her face away and didn't look at him. saying randomly, less fabric, cheaper. Seeing her flusteredly lower her eyes, her face red as if it was about to burst into flames, he couldn't help but laugh. When she wasn't paying attention, he quickly hid his smile and said matter-of-factly, "You, Serafina." "Huh?" She heard him suddenly change his tone, looking serious. She immediately raised her head, looking at him with clear eyes. He frowned slightly, seeming to be talking properly. "Don't you see?" A series of questions automatically started running in her mind. "Don't you see it's very revealing? Very flirtatious? Very this and that?" He calmly and naturally asked, "Don't you see that when you buy new clothes, you should try them on for me to see?" "Huh?" She almost fainted, only now realizing that he was deliberately teasing her, and grumbled, "Not for you to see." Hearing her say that, he slightly narrowed his eyes, lifted her chin. "If you don't let me see, who are you going to let see? Can't I enjoy it myself?" She glared at him and dodged. Of course, he chased after her, hugged her waist, put half of his weight on her, and said with a smile, "But having fun alone is not as good as having fun together. We should still have fun together." She pursed her lips and ignored him, but suddenly remembered what Emma had said, and for some reason blushed, throwing him a sentence back, "Have fun with your head." At this moment, the doorbell rang. "It's probably Emma." She pulled his hand away and ran to the door. But when she glanced at the video screen on the door, she saw the person standing in the hallway. Was it Hannah? He smiled faintly. "They are really as persistent as hungry leeches. Go, kill them," and then walked towards the door. She hurriedly stopped him, whispering, "You can't go out, you can't reveal yourself." He looked at her for a long time, somewhat at a loss for words. "So I've become your secret lover again?" She shamelessly nodded. "You've suffered, but without my permission, you can't go out." After speaking, she pushed him into the room. He stubbornly said, "No." She sadly urged, "I beg you, just hide for a while." He became even more frustrated. "Am I not allowed to see anyone like this?" She panicked. "You know very well that's not what I meant, you're deliberately provoking me." He was very determined. "Never mind, I feel very wronged." She really wanted to cry. "It's my fault, okay? It's me who made you feel wronged, okay? Just hold on for a while, can I make it up to you? I beg you, go hide." He was very calm. "Then you have to wear a bikini for me to see." She was in a mess. "You bullied me." He was very stubborn. "You bullied me first." She was helpless. "Okay, I'll do whatever you say, okay?" He was very satisfied. "Okay." After that, he obediently went into the room. She took a few deep breaths before opening the door. After opening the door, she didn't intend to let Hannah in. Hannah must have found out something before coming here. But Hannah ignored her blocking the door, slipped straight into the room, looked around, and said, "You and Emma are in the same room, you're really close." The room was booked by Andrew and Emma, and was also booked in Emma's name, so Hannah misunderstood. But that was even better, she didn't need to explain, and she didn't need to worry. Hannah poured herself some water and drank it slowly. Serafina sat beside her, not paying any attention to her, just looking at the gradually darkening sky outside the window. "Serafina," Hannah put down her cup, and went straight to the point, "how about you cooperate with our family? Both of our families are in the energy industry, and if we work together, we can control the market. Fighting each other will only cause both sides to lose." Serafina turned the cup in her hand. "You mean, we can destroy the Ashford family together with your family?" Hannah smiled brightly. Serafina also smiled. "Do you think it's possible?" Saying this, she felt a little uncomfortable. Perhaps Hannah had been following her, thinking that Emma and she were living together, and when she saw Emma had left downstairs, she ran up here to talk to her privately. "Why not?" Hannah asked. "Do you still consider the Ashford family as your relatives?" "No," Serafina said slowly, "I'm tired of this back and forth fighting now. Just mind your own business." "You're really," Hannah saw that she didn't seem interested, and her expression immediately changed, exhaling, "You're really boring." With that, she stood up and walked out arrogantly. "Goodbye." Serafina watched her suddenly leaving figure without understanding anything. She called Harrison out, frowning and asking him, "I find Hannah very strange, suddenly asking me this, I don't understand how her mind works." He sat next to her, playing with her hair, as if thinking about something. After a while, he curved his lips and smiled, but his eyes were very cold. "The real reason she came to find you wasn't there. This was just to cover your eyes." "What do you mean?" She looked at him suspiciously. Just as he was about to speak, her phone rang again. After hearing Hannah on the other end, she hung up the phone, also understanding that something was unusual, but couldn't say exactly what was unusual. She glanced at the strange bag on the sofa. "Hannah said she forgot her bag here, please bring it to room 1824 for her." He curled his lips slightly, his eyes even darker. She was curious, raised her head and asked, "What was the real reason you just said?" He tapped her cup with his index finger. "Here." She was stunned, then after a while, she realized, "Did you see what she put in here?" He calmly replied, looking at her, his face filled with strangeness. "I saw the reaction of the pill when it fell into the water, it must be an aphrodisiac." She was stunned. He saw her face blank, stroked her cheek, and smiled gently. "Be good, don't be afraid, I'm here." How could she be calm,